Apparently, these two are big fans of each other. Seriously, whenever you see these two in chats, they're just like, oh yeah, big fan, insert name. Welcome back to the channel, folks. It's the good old classic Malian versus Ottomans. And we've got Sas, rightfully the Turk on the Turkish, up against Gully Dekul on what might be considered his signature civ. Yes, I mean, HRE might have been the civ that was able to get him to top 10. But really, Gully loves Malians like no other. This is his go-to. And we're here in this $3,000 tournament right now. Winner of this goes up against Voldemar. Gully Dekul would be a different opponent. Sas would be a rematch after Voldemar put Sas in this lower bracket 3-1. Gully, a bit more expected, got 3-0'd by Marine Lord. But, I mean, there's no shame in the loss for Sas against Voldemar, considering that Voldemar, yesterday, almost beat Marine Lord in a best of 5. It was wild to witness. So we're just doing a little bit of 2xp because we want to get into the feudal age. We want to be close to the live because this series is already underway. Our plans got abruptly changed when one of the players dropped out. So Mansa versus the military school. Looking at the spawn, I like the deer placement. Berries as well. Actually, like, Sas has a pretty wallable spawn for mid-game. A little bit tricky if Malians play pro scouts because that's going to come in early, but I feel like Malian players have been moving away from that. And what the hell am I seeing there? A Sultani trade network. Not really your norm these days, folks. Yeah, like, Sultani trade network completely fell off ever since people start playing feudal all-ins with Ottomans. So what is Sas up to? Is there a world in which this is delayed pro scouts? Is this just a blunt, fast castle? Because he's playing out onto deer. I mean, it could just be FC. Problem is, if Gully sees this, he can react quite easily. You know, even just the warrior scouts are quite annoying, quite good harassers. I mean, the military school is producing spears for free, for sure. And it is going to be a Rax opening from Gully. Okay, so he's going to play Donzos because he's assuming there's going to be Sipahi. Because in fairness to him, like, any sane person against Ottomans right now assumes Sipahi. Because Sipahi, if you were to look up the stats for Ottomans and most built units at high level, I would easily just drop hundreds upon hundreds of bucks on it being Sipahi. It is the unit that makes the world go round for this civ. In the early game, in the late game, even in the mid game. But weirdly enough, not in Sas's game. No, we've got the meta now on the way. A little bit of stone gathering, so extra military school's coming. So he's going for the delayed surge, where he's not looking for the value of that first 1, 2, 3 units. What Sas is more interested in is the efficiency of bulking around 10, 15, courtesy of just getting the passive reduction in so early. So for that reason, we should just be seeing a blacksmith as the first priority once he has the wood. Wolves from Gully. This is a very defensive game from both of them, opening-wise, right? Like, even if the plan here is for Sas to attack around 15 minutes, let's say, the beginning is very much a lax one, right? If one player attacked the other, it would have been problematic. You know, for Gully, it would have meant no secondary gold, and for Sas, it would have meant no deer. Gully. He actually has a really crap spawn for the way he's playing this, right? He's got no accessible deer in a game where he's only got 5 sheep. And reminder, Sas has still got 12 sheep before he even goes for the Anatolian Hills point. Sas now adding in the stables. Gully, it's just raw Donzo right now. What an unusual game. At least opening-wise, not really your normal. And while we have this little bit of a calming point, I'm going to try and find the draft. Because I'm curious to see if someone got a clear edge there. We've got the Imam point, so it's definitely Sas looking for an attack point here. For sure. So let's have a look. Sas versus Gully. Okay, so I've got their draft. Sass got Knights, Templar, Rus, Japan, Mongols, Lancaster, French, and Ottomans. But Gully, damn, he got Shushi, HRE, Byzantines, Delhi, Ayu, and Malians, and then finished with English. That's a pretty powerful draft. And water variants, there's only Kawasan. Like, actually, like, Gully, I'd say, won the draft. Yeah, so Sass picked Knights Templar for the backup plan on Kawasan. But, like, Shushi's a decent answer for that anyway. I'd say that matchup is, like, back and forth as teeter-tot. There's no, like, we haven't had a clear, this is just a default win, if that does happen. But we'll see if we get to that. In fact, yeah, let me just load the draft. Here you go, guys. So this is the draft I was talking about. So, yeah, you see that? That's a pretty wacky draft. I'm a little bit surprised by that. Yeah, let's hop back in anyway. Alright, we're going to 2x a little bit while we get to the build-up. Donzo Mass discovered. I don't think Sass was expecting quite that many spears. And also, I've flipped their names around by accident. Whoops. Why is there a Freeville gap? Did he go textiles? He did not go textiles. What? And it's, I mean, it's obviously not Paxos and Mana this early. So Gully just skipped on villager production. That's a big whoops. He has at least got the 2 pit mines to make up for it, sure. But your opponent's also playing passive production with military schools. It looks like Sass may have, like, missed slightly village production as well, but nowhere near as much as Gully, right? We have got the ranchers coming in, however. This can make Gully feel a lot better. Oh, wait, you're right. My brain. Oh, my God. I got baited too. Yeah. Oh, dude. Trade network. I'm so used to not seeing it. So, wait. Sass? Wait. So, Sass missed out on villagers? Slightly, right? Because he should be 3 ahead. And it's more like he's 1.3 ahead. So he skipped on villager production because there's no textiles. So Gully didn't miss on worker production. Wait, why did it just go up to... Oh, he's adding in traders now. He's actually adding in extras. Huh. Because remember, you start with 3 by default. Okay, so Sass just looking for poke pressure. I think he knows that Gully's just trying to tech now. And what does Sass really have to show for us? He's massing up archers to the Donzos, but they're not in position to do anything, is the weird part. Yeah, the archers are very defensive from Sass. Maybe he doesn't think that it's Fulani rushed. But he's in for a rude awakening. 12 cows and into castle. Now kind of an uncomfortable position, right? Like, sending your archers forward without the Sipahi entirely does reek of an oddity, shall we say. A little bit abnormal. Sipahi. Archers are going to charge in. Gully gets found out on the deer. That's not too far from an A-job. We should be seeing Mehmed Imperial Armory coming through. I'd be shocked if we got the other one. Yeah, people don't tend to do the Istanbul Imperial Palace. I think we've yet to see it actually win. Win because it was picked. Right? It's almost like it's just a meme or a little cherry on top of an already won game. Gully. I assume he's going to stay on infantry here. The tricky part about going Sofa is, especially if you're both walling in, the Janissaries answer you really well. Looks like he's yet to make a choice, actually. Gully, a lot of wood gathering, and it is going to be stables. Okay, so he values the Sofa beginning, but remind it, guys, if the map starts to get cut up, and you see walls everywhere, Sofa starts to lose value, Janissaries start to gain value. Right? Janissaries actually counter Sofa very hard. The problem is quite often Janissaries can't get the fight they're looking for. I think he'll be able to secure relics. I think because you've gone Donzos and your opponent already bulked longer and feudal, you kind of accept you can't rush relics here. Like, you can sneak 1 or 2, like these ones. But I'd be surprised if he ends up with the majority of relics. Sass, with the Imam point in particular, he's already going to be in position to pick up 2. That shouldn't be happening, though. What? Gully left wide open. Sass able to go in and start harvesting the cows. Gully needs more Donzo stacked up at home. Instead, it's just additional stables. So he is going full sofa flood with 9 cow. Yeah, and no food access. That's the weirder thing about this, right? It's like not just that the food line isn't full, it's that he doesn't have any alternate food. All of his food options are ahead of where his defenses are set up. This is a very hard spawn that Gully's trying to play here. Gully. I like that he's just going to try and take a poke at it. Does get himself a worker kill. Nicely done there. Because, like, you've come so far. If you just walk home now with nothing, it feels horrible. He does need to be a little bit careful of getting surrounded, though. Sass, he's rotating, looking to intercept reinforcements. He's going to see the first of the sofa and look to engage. No imported armors. They're actually not that tanky. Nice little find. Catches where the Donzos are not. Even has the melee armor to make it an even easier trade. And activates the Fortitude just to get through those Donzos. A little bit risky there. It works out. And off into the fog he goes. Alright, 1s if you think Sass is going to win this game. 2s if you think Gully is. I'm liking Sass's position a lot more. The thing that's problematic here for Gully, he may end up relying too much on sofa play. And it's like, it's a weird dynamic. It's definitely micro-oriented, but the way this works, usually, as you get late into the game, you build sofa which get countered by Janissary, but Janissary get countered by poison archers. But archers get countered by Sipahi. So, like, we pretty much have each other in a bind, but then what you highlight is the meta, and also Fortitude Sipahi. Not always going to be able to use that Fortitude, but it means if your opponent makes a slight mistake on positioning, you can just wipe him. Yeah, so like, this point in the game, later in the game, you know, like, especially if you get into Imperial Age, Ottoman Sipahi just look gross. They don't look so gross when used like this, though. Yeah, I mean, they're a strong unit, but ego-challenging mass spears is ambitious from Sass. He has got more military school set up, though, so we're up to 4. And he did go for the Advanced Academy, so they're producing quicker. So it's using them to get into Knights. Port Armor's now on the way for Gully. Gully is doing a good job of just kind of mirroring Sass's moves in the mid-map, which is important, because right now, Gully's problem has been food. But as he starts to push up into the mid-area and forces Sass to react back and forth to him, you start to see him moving out for the food and the gold, right? Food, the key thing that he needs to keep finding here. It's got berries to the north that should be easy to obtain. The deer to the far south, a little bit weird. Gully also, by the way, has not gone for the relic down there, so missing out on extra gold. You see what I mean about the Sipahi versus Sofa, though, right? You know, on paper, you just say, oh yeah, Sofa win that fight. But in actuality, when you consider the cost difference, when you consider the way that they scale, Sipahi are surprisingly impactful. A, because the meta to melee armor makes them fairly chunky, but it's also because of how many Sipahi can attack a Sofa. A reminder, they move at the same speed, so like there's no, yeah, but you can always choose where the fight is sort of thing. I was just thinking, Marlene's in purple, is that like the most Wakanda color scheme we can get? I don't know if it's because of my glasses, the glass way I get my glasses, they've got like a purple edition Black Panther. I'm trying to remember for the movies. It was Black Panther. Black Panther had like purple trims, right? He did, yeah. So this is Wakanda skin. There you go. Yeah, for those wondering, I always refer to the Malians as Wakandans because of their warrior scouts and their healing abilities. It's superhuman. They have sipped the flowers. This is a very slow mid-game. It just feels like we're building for one big fight. The alternative is, that quite often can happen in these situations, is you both just scale to mass pop, and then instead of fighting, you just tech. It does happen quite a lot. With these type of army styles anyway. Like Gully, it feels like he's itching for the fight. The weird thing, though, is if you both get popped, it's actually more beneficial for Gully to tech than like, Sass. And what I mean by that is, like, obviously, Ottomans have a lot of upsides, but if you're stuck at 200 pop, it means military schools get no value. You have to start losing units for it to be valuable, right? Because if it can't spawn units, you're not getting any extra resource per minute in terms of units. Meanwhile, Gully, if he's at 200 pop, he's still got the cows gathering more food. That's just going to go into the coffers. That'll keep building and building. Break from the walls for Gully. Sass has backed off behind the walls. He's on the berries and the deer over here, so it'd be problematic if he got dove there right now. Looks like the backstab coming in is enough to make Gully think twice, though. He's at least going to stand in a group of Sofa. I like that. Yeah, Sofa, if it looks dodgy, can get away. The army, the static army, the infantry is the problem. Force reveals himself. The Janissary stuck fighting the unit that they don't counter. Archers able to dodge the mangonel shots, though. Skrill not being target fired down, mind you. The Janissary count, there's only 8 of them. Yeah, and they're left against archers. This is ugly. The Sofa at the back have at least been blocked out, so they won't be able to raid efficiently. They're being cut off by all cavalry. The archers are going to end up forced back, so Sass had a few supply left over. Plus defender's advantage is going to be good enough, and Gully's going to be asking himself questions about where the worth was in that engagement. Yeah, I think for Gully, what he was hoping is that he would be able to just dive in the back and raid. Not the case at all. Good defensive prowess by Sass. Might want to consider just adding in some wolves to the north side soon. Has he got enough gold to go Imperial? He's got the 4k in the corner. 4k in front of his base. It might be worth castle dropping towards an 8k, like over here. In fact, he's already laying the foundation. You can see an outpost drop that would set him up nicely. The more he waits, the more Ottoman becomes strong. To a point. They've got 1 Vizier point left, and that's it. But the problem for Malians is they thrive when they have mass advantage. But the issue is you start to lose mass advantage as you peak out on villager count, right? Like, that's the weird trade-off here. And wait, he did. He went trade badge. I didn't even think about it in the moment. Oh, damn. We never get to see this. But it makes sense now. He has the Sultani trade network fully capped with traders. Hot damn. And he has the right map for it. Look at this trade post location. So yeah, folks, I talked about wall on the north side. Expect it all the way up. Now, you can tell whoever made the DLC or the expansion that added Malians and Ottomans to the game was secretly a psychopath, because these two civs are actually both phenomenal trading civs. Malians can do it too. Right now, he doesn't have any reason to. Like, Malians tend to go towards trade later than I'd say Ottomans would need to. Just because Ottos, they have a lot of use for gold with things like Janissary and Siege, but they don't have infinite gold. Whereas Malians, even without trade at this point in the game, you can see with the triple pit mine plus the Mansa, he almost has 400 passive gold income off of that alone. And then you talk about, obviously, the relic sacred sites on top. 2 TC play, by the way, so Gully is going to start building a worker lead now. Why? Whose food income is low? Sass's? Because he's on limited food with limited farms. Ottomans aren't a fast farming civ. Takes time. Gully, he's a big boy. Last time splitting up actually hurt him. Will they look for the direct engagement this time? Sass spreading himself thin. He's a small butter boy and he's got a big loaf of bread. Concave emerging. A difficult defense, but the spring shots could be big. Gully, he's not targeting them. Needs to flip target right now. These spring are actually clearing out a decent amount of the Donzos. Spy lasting just long enough, but Sass, he's starting to get brute force down. The siege does get sniped out. Mango's dead. Spring sniped. All siege removed. And win condition achieved. Gully now able to push on through. Sass, it will have to be a full staggered retreat. He has got mass cavalry coming behind this. The Donzo count isn't that crazy for Gully. But a good start. Gully is going to be slowed down by these outposts. Doesn't want to be diving past the spooner placements. We'll just send in a few to raid. Reminder, Sass, of course, he's still only 1 TC. He went trade bags. Now, the trade bags, by the way, does work on the Sultani trade network, reminder. So normally you get 24 gold, so you get 240. It increases to 336. So although he hasn't actively started trading, he is getting almost 100 extra gold because he pressed this one button. It's not bad, especially when you remember what we said about gold limitations and him needing to find more veins. Looks like he is going to get found on stone and gold, though. Just a few raiders in. Textiles will at least minimize the losses. Gully kind of just wasting even a lot of time over here on this outpost. Yeah, the archers don't kill this fast, remember. Second TC now from Sass. I think Gully, maybe because he built second TC, feels a bit too safe. He's adding in more farms, so he's setting himself up for the late game. I think that's the problem, is he's maybe feeling fragile at 20 farms. But, like, you're a Fulani boy. You've got plenty of extra food, even when you don't have many farms. Yeah, a little bit of an odd slowdown. Dangerous to do against Ottomans just because of their inherent ability to rebloat an army with military schools. I guess I'm not surprised we got to this stage of the game. Like, you know, these are probably the two players' most favorite civs. You know, Sass is all the national pride type things. Like, oh yeah, I'm Turkish. I love playing Turkish. For Gully, I don't know what attracted him to Malians, but it does feel like it's his most played civ at this point. Yeah, both of them flexing strong. I mean, I don't think Ottomans is Sass's most played. I'd put that as like French or Rus. But he's definitely said before it's his favorite civ. Gully. He's fully blobbed on archers. Sass doesn't actually have that many Sipahi. Kind of shocks me here. Then again, his food income is pretty rough. Down to under 1,000 now that the limited food supplies are running out. He's only got a handful of berries left down here. 26 farms deep. He also only has farming tech 1, no secondary. The keep drop now coming in. Sass trying to aggro up here, but realizes quickly his army's far too small as the archer reinforcements arrive. Gully now with the castle drop just to try and secure the 8Ks. Now, we said he doesn't need it that much, and honestly, it's true. He's sitting at 3,000 gold. His comp doesn't use that much gold, folks. It's only the sofa at 60 a pop. But it's not about what he needs. It's about what Sass needs and what he's not going to get. Yeah, it's turning into a starvation-focused game. Looks like we are going Imperial, but Sass is a mile behind. Fort the Huntress now on the way. Is going to be dropped on the Southern Sacred Site. To the south anyway, so another focus point around the gold. It's just all about the 8K control. Another thing that's nice with Gully, he still has this fat woodline all the way over here. Yeah, also, if he keep drops one more to the south, he just locks this all in. And what is up, Macabre? I see you with that prime sub. Thank you, mate. Appreciate it. Yo, has Macabre started a chain reaction? Because you guys tend to be like, one does it, everyone does it. Like earlier, one hydrate, we got like 10 hydrates. So now everyone has to just use those prime subs because it is the start of the month, right? That's how that works. Gully almost primed him ready for a win. Sass is at least bulking himself up a bit now with the Janissary Mass. Should be hard just to immediately dive him. I don't think Gully really wants to just rush dive him. Before the Huntress, Sass does dive in. It's just going to be a commitment, though. With Textiles, it's impossible to stop him. Even with the Fortitude. Close, but no cigar. 9 workers survive. Age up complete. He did lose some economy, sure, but that's not a bad thing. Remember, Marlians typically need more army than their opponents because they're more about quantity than quality anyway. In some ways, that actually might be a beneficial thing that he went down 10. Sass. He has at least got some defenses to stop him just being now dove. Stonewalls are coming in, so he's prepping for trade. Yeah, also just a way of stopping Sofa raids in the late game. And wait, hold on a sec. I just got like a weird collaborate request from Ben Wolf, who's doing Stormgate. Why am I getting Stormgate collaborate request? I'm checking him now. Like, was that a misclick? Why are we collabing, bro? We're on very different RTSs right now. You guys remember Morph, right? He does a lot of Stormgate content. Props to him. I got it. Like, I gotta give him credit for like the ride or die commitment he's had to that game. It's unfortunate the way it's playing out for him, but I do respect the fact that he tried to pull it through. Like, he didn't just like. He wasn't one of those people who's like, oh, it's going to be the best game ever. And then the next week, he just stopped playing it. I do feel bad for him that it didn't work out. He's a good lad. A little bit of poke raid here. And it has bought the time. Istanbul Observatory is now on the way. And there isn't any direct dive I'm expecting out of Gully. Like, the problem is he's gone mass archers. Mass archers aren't good at going through these defenses to end the game, right? They're very squishy. They won't be able to burn them down. So instead, we're probably going to be seeing a bit of a slower approach. He's already losing the castle drop on the gold. I think Gully just needs to get some siege. Probably just Trebs. You need to be a bit careful now because with Ottomans teching up, they're going to get access to the Great Bombards. He'll start poking in now he's heard the age up. Archer Mass advantaged. Remember, you don't get in severe arrows with the Marlians, but he has got the precision training, which is giving him bonus damage. Not to mention bowstrings is on the way. Spear defense is a strong one. Yep, and good read there by Gully. If you dive that choke point, your army will disappear quicker than my bank balance when I go to a authentic Middle Eastern restaurant that has quality hummus. Seriously, I'm ordering like 10 of those to the table. All right. And what is up, Jade Honor? Thank you very much for the sub. Welcome to Swarm. Swarm's getting big. Can we get as big as a Malian army today? You guys are definitely impressing me. Appreciate everyone's been tuning in for the support. Reminder, guys, we are usually streaming Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, so always check in there as well, as KPMM does return tomorrow. But this has been a nice, refreshing change of scenery. Weekend streams. And Bombard's now coming in, so Gully is ticking the box we required here. I think Stormgate actually does look pretty good with all the improvements they made, but they are all burnt. Yeah, like the Goodwill's burnt, it's way too late. Remember what I said, guys. Like, imagine if Age of Empires 4... Like, think of the size Age of Empires 4 is now. Imagine if it released like this now. If AoE 4 released like this now, it would be 10 times bigger than what it is. Right? That's just the nature of launches. Like, you can't take it back. Why do you think Overwatch decided to just basically make a fake Overwatch 2? Same logic, right? Just, like, relaunching the product can be a good thing. Unfortunately for them, because they took away the few things that would have justified a relaunch, they failed there. And what is up, Kent and Brad? I appreciate it as well, mate. Thank you for the sub. Welcome to Swarm. Okay, so Great Bombard queued up, but Sass doesn't have it yet. He does, however, have the emplacement. But remember, the shots from that are ranged. That means 85% of that damage doesn't impact. So instead he starts targeting others. We're playing 10p Marley right now. Janissary defense is going to scare him away for the moment. He's got a few lancers mixed in, but the poison archers are pretty threatening here to everything coming their way. Yeah, it's difficult to maintain a pushback with Janissaries here. Villagers are going to keep repairing. Mangonels have almost arrived. Now, this is good. The mangoes, there's not enough bombards to insta-kill a mango yet. No, you can see it's awkward. He gets it left on 20 HP. Archers are being finned. Yeah, Gully with the switch. He's going to be going into Musafadi Gunners. Okay. This is pretty cool to see as a pivot. You don't often get to that stage because Gunners just feel so pricey. Weirdly enough, for a civ that has so much gold, it just always seems out of reach. Mainly because I feel like Marlene's just aimed for an endpoint around 30 minutes. But no, this is going deep enough. So he's discarding all archers, replacing them with all Gunners. Not just that. It's unfortunate. I was about to say, for the Huntress, if it wasn't all the way to the south, that would be very useful for the first strike ambush as well. Stormgate got to a reasonable place to replace SC2, but burned out most of the support. Yeah, and I think, like, I just don't agree with the influencer marketing campaign, like, effort there. I think the game wasn't ready to be soft launched the way it was with that much money. Like, they spent a lot of money getting big streamers, etc., to play the game for a few hours when the product wasn't there yet. Like, if they at least had that reserve and they put that into a crazy last-ditch effort, you know, we're going to spend $1 million or $2 million on marketing now, they might have had a shot at making a recovery. It's still difficult, though. I think it's, part of it is the nature of, like, financial misscope, overscope, because they did want to do a lot of the game. And then finally, they were in the unfortunate situation if they got caught with their hand in the cookie jar in the middle of a downslope when it came to investments and the IT sector as a whole. Anyway, looks like it's a downslope moment for the Ottomans. SAS is just struggling to compete on military size here. And with the Gunners' arrival, things are going to get ugly fast. Janissaries are no longer the biggest and scariest gunner in these fights. Great Bombard is at least the biggest gunpowder unit in these fights. Yeah, Gully doesn't have an answer to that still, so he has to retreat. I think Gully just needs to get to the free bombard count and hold steady. Like, free bombard starts to get a bit scary for great bombards. Right, because bombards, normal bombards, they hit for 55 damage. So you need 5 hits to kill a great bombard. If you have 3, that's 2 rounds and it's dead. How the hell has SAS got so much gold, by the way? I'm actually impressed that he hasn't ran out yet. Almost 2,000 gold income a minute is actually wild from his type of position. He has limited access on the front side, although you've been seeing it hurts him. He has snuck out for this gold, so that's 3k extra. Trade seems like it's still going to elude him, though. The trade is very scary to try and play for right now. But I think he's going to have to think about it sooner rather than later. Yeah, because the 8ks won't be an option at this rate. I mean, both of them already been harvested from 8k down to 5k. And the effort required to get your hands on them is crazy. And one thing I'll at least say in Stormgate's defense, by the way, is I remember talking to some people behind the scenes in the early day that they were actually... They said that they talked to devs, and the devs were kind of scared because everyone had, in their mind, ranked up what was essentially like a AA game into a AAA game off of hype. Yeah, it's one of the kind of things that I think gets overlooked a lot in game development in the market nowadays, is like overhype is real. Think about how many games have been ruined because there was too much expected of them. I don't think that, like, I think Stormgate, like, expected too much of itself, to be honest. Like, that's different. But there's other games that have been unfortunate victims to that. Like, remember No Man's Sky? Holy crap. I need to get back to that game, actually. No Man's Sky is in a really good place now. Flash coming in. Just enough Donzo to keep the Sipahi at bay. And he actually has gone back to archers. I like that, though. That's smart. So I think the problem here with the Gunners is, like, they just weren't finding impact against Sipahi. I thought they might be able to. Like, Gully convinced me as well. But, like, the problem here is, why are you going Gunners to beat Janissary when archers do it much better? archers attack quicker. They have more movement speed. They have more range. And they do double damage specifically against Janissaries. It's just a natural choice. Yeah, especially when you can see the guns are, what, 42 damage? And these archers are hitting for half that. They're hitting quicker. Great bombard counting up to 3. I'm starting to get a bit worried for Gully here, actually. He's still only got 2 bombards. It's not enough. He does at least have Sacred Site control, so in a way, he could just kind of meat grind this out. But the military gap has shrunk immensely, guys. This is wild. He also doesn't have enough wood for the mass archer strat, so he goes back to gunners out of a necessity of not having wood. Oh, boy. And he's on the wrong side of the map. Guys, there's a small tree line here, but then it's a long run all the way to the south. Is he going to lose this because of the stupidity of Great Bombards? I'm starting to think so. Which is freaking crazy, considering how this game was going. Golly. He's going to step up again, but last time when it looked good for him, he had about double the military count. Now, he's behind on it. Great Bombards, able to scare away the baby Bombards. They know who the daddy is. And we know who the true daddy of the late game is. The paternity test has come back. And Ottomans are the father. Great Bombards hitting in. Castle soon to drop. Villagers need to move away. It's happening. Sass, this game looked untenable. His position looked like it should have been up Craps Creek without a paddle. But this man brought a speedboat to a rowing competition. He just needed to find a mechanic to get it all fixed up. And well, the mechanics have arrived, right? The Janissaries able to enable the siege. And the Sipahi finally able to go raiding for the first time in what feels like a century. Starts to change the script a little bit. Gully Deckle now with 8, almost 9,000 food. Just still nothing to do with it. I mean, what do you do now? He doesn't even have that much gold. Because he just got pushed off the gold vein, guys. Like, this is the big problem. He hasn't been gathering down here. So mass gunners isn't really that feasible. He chooses warrior scouts into mass janissary and Sipahi. This is not a winning solution, guys. Sipahi will laugh in the face of warrior scouts. Yeah, there's not enough Wakanda nanotech in the world to convince me that that will beat Sipahi. Great Bombards, the Roboticon as well. I can't believe you built a Roboticon when his opponent's still spamming archers. But whatever, we'll just say misclick, move on. 5 Great Bombards knocking at the door. Fort of the Huntress goes down. Villagers get pinched there as well. It's going to be a dive attempt. Janissaries able to hold steady for the moment. Sipahi coming back around, cutting the reinforcements. The Great Bombards are able to stand still. It's just a trickle of troopers into a field of death here. Yeah, I mean, the warrior scouts, they're just not getting around quick enough. Bombards are moving upfield, but they've got no protection either. An opening and Fortitude activated. The anti-siege solution is gone. And the Great Bombard count just keeps going up. Gully's chances of winning this game continue downward. I have an archer switch on the way, by the way. Sass. He's already got elite tech. He's prepping incendiary. Yeah, he's seeing a lot of Donzos and not much else. The Great Bombard smoke with the Jannies inside looks scary. I mean, isn't this just a... It's just a smoke bomb, right? We're playing Counter-Strike now. Smoke and Rush B. Sorry, Smoke and Rush G for Gully. Oh my god. You know, I've enjoyed watching Ottomans for their feudal presence, and it's bloody impressive. But now that we're getting another game where we're this late, I freaking hate this civ. It's just... Everyone tries to think they know what the most annoying thing in the game is. Right? And usually it's like, oh, elephants or chug or nested bees. But come on. There's one thing that you may usually forget about because it doesn't come out often these days. But when it does, you remember. It's like a deeply rooted PTSD that your brain had to forget just for you to not be traumatized. It's the greatest bombard warriors. That was a little bit overkill for one scout. You all forgot, but Pepper Ridge Farm remembered. Great bombards are the most disgustingly vile piece of crap in this game. There's more smoke on my screen right now than you'd get in a Snoop Dogg house party. How do you even see what's happening right now? There's more bass than I get at a Swedish House Mafia concert. How can you hear anything right now? It's just hopeless. We're just stuck in a never-ending meat grinder. But you know what? Passive production versus eventually you're going to run out of trees, Lamau. I'm surprised these scouts can even see what they're hitting amongst all the smoke. There's enough smoke on your screen to actually invoke a cough in real life. You're like, why am I coughing right now? I think I had an experience like this once at an esports event. They wanted smoke for the entry. We're doing rehearsals on the day, right? And like, all right, cue smoke for walk in. And I like walk through the smoke. I'm like, too much smoke. Too much smoke. Oh my god, he's added in Reboldiquin. Just get him out. Just give him the win. It's not worth it anymore. The Reboldiquins are so tiny by comparison, you can't even see them. TG comes in. Ottomans are vile.